Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Lyfe Choyces Podcast.
Yeah!
Welcome back, everybody, to Lyfe Choices. On today's episode, we'll be discussing mindset and success, the good and the tough aspects of going after your passions. I'm your host, Bradley, and on today's episode, our guest is Golden. Welcome, Golden. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm so happy you actually made it. Yeah, it's been fun. We've chatted a few times out in the world of social life, and
of course.
I was so happy that I found out that you were a personal trainer. I was very happy to connect with you on that level and start training with you. I feel that your mindset is really in line with exactly what we're doing here at Lyfe Choices, which is trying to help everyone kind of get through to what their passion is and then go after it and understand that it's not just going to be butterflies and rainbows every day.
Most definitely not.
Yeah, because life shows up at your door every day.
Every day.
The more you do good, it seems that the more life wants to show up and say, and then you've got to realize, yes, I'm going to continue with this anyways.
That's the way. That's the way.
So how did you find out that being a personal trainer was something that you wanted to do?
Training always been a part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, I was going through a lot. And it was hard for me.
Yeah.
Financially, spiritually, physically, everything was just hard. And I found a gym. And when I found a gym, I didn't just see weights or equipment. I saw therapy, man. I saw a way I could connect, that I could connect with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So when I picked up those dumbbells and the barbells, that was it for me.
Yeah.
I cannot explain it more than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can see that it's truth. I mean, the way you smile and light up when you talk about it right away, man. You can see that it's not just like, it's more than a passion. It's a way of life for you.
Nice way of life. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And what were you going through at that time in your life? Like, how old were you when you were, kind of trying to find out what that was?
I was like 16, 17.
Okay.
When I found that, I was going through a lot roughly as far as even financially.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the gym doesn't really speak much about financial.
Right.
But that changed a lot of things for me. So financially, I wanted to change my status spiritually and physically.
Mm-hmm.
But when I picked that up, things changed, man.
Yeah.
So the mindset is from me creating that.
Right.
It's not, it happened. I created that life.
Right. So you were going through some tough times
of course.
In your personal life,
personal
in work. Life. Okay. And you found that the gym was like an outlet, like a place that you could go and kind of either get away or deal with whatever demons, let's call them, were going on inside your head.
Of course.
And by working out regularly and, finding that love for the gym, you then eventually became interested in helping other people.
Well, before I got to other people, I really had to master myself first.
Okay, that's an excellent point.
Before I got to helping people, it was just a point of me changing myself, because you can't help anybody until you help yourself. So throughout my journey, I started just chasing my passion. It became something I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted it. And I just kept grinding. I got to the point where people started reacting towards it. And I'm like, wow, people actually believe in this stuff. People believe in me. And that was something growing up I never had. Like someone believing you for something.
Right.
So when that took place, I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to start helping people.
Right.
Right? Because I done did it for myself, so I could show others.
I mean, that, in my opinion, that's proof that if you look inside yourself and find that self-love for yourself and change yourself for the better, your vibrations or your actions, which is so important, is a lot of people talk a lot of good game, but they don't follow it up with the action.
No action. And
your actions literally changed your own life to the point where other people were feeding off your energy and were like, okay, what's he doing? What's he got going on there? I want to see what that's about.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Because I never spoke about anything.
I was
just doing it.
You never had to advertise, basically.
Never. Yeah. I never had to do that.
And
I just came up and I just put action first.
Awesome.
That was it. And then people started believing in it, right? They following, asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, let's do something with this.
All right.
So
And
I was like, okay, let's go.
how long ago was that?
That was like probably 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
Not long ago.
Not long ago
Not
at all.
long.
And it's been quite a ride, right?
Of course. And it's still a journey. The
Right.
journey is never done because we want longevity in this.
Exactly. It's not short-term gain.
Nah, there's no short term here. And in anything.
Right. So how do you go about being consistent?
Consistent, it's really easy. And it's just understanding that you will not be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
I 100% get what you're saying right
See,
there.
like, that's why I say it's a mindset thing.
Right.
Most of the time, we won't be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's in the back of your head, like, you know what, man? Whatever I'm going through, I still got to get this done. My goals come first.
Mm-hmm.
I have to finish. I got to get it accomplished. That's what drives the consistency.
Right. I love how you said you won't always be consistent.
You won't.
Yeah. You want to be, right? Because that's what creates the discipline in yourself to
course.
keep doing the things that you necessarily might not want to do on that day, but you have to because that's the discipline.
So I leave with this word. It's mandatory,
Okay.
right? So everything is a switch. The more you start to click the buttons in your brain, the more you'll be consistent. Like, okay, mandatory. When you hear that word, it means I got to get it done. I have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
No choice.
None.
So what that leaves you with,
The opportunity to get shit done.
that's it.
That's it. I love it.
That's it.
It is all about the mindset. I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of, looking deep inside myself to become a better individual, a better friend, a better business owner. And the mindset to me is absolute truth. And knowing, I love today, like how we're sitting here right now, and you said you will not always be consistent. Because I have like a routine that I try to do to stay consistent. Because in my head, I guess I haven't used the word mandatory, but in my head, I have this thing where like I have to get certain things done every day.
Of course.
And I believe that if I do those things, I will be successful. And if I don't do those things, I won't be. But having the ability to know that you won't always be consistent is such a wonderful way to say it. Because today when I woke up, I did my routine. I got up at 4:30. Let the dog out. We went for like a little bit of a walk, but I was so tired. So I laid back
That's early.
down. Yeah, I know that's
early.
early. Eh?
But that's good though. That's early. 4:30.
Yeah.
That's early.
4:30, the alarm goes off. By like 4:40, I'm out of the bed. But I went back to my room and laid down for like an hour because my body told me I needed to rest. And at the same time that I was like, dude, you have to go do these things, I was also being like, you know what, today your body's telling you that you need to be, you need rest.
Well, that's good too. That's okay. See, the mindset is it's funny and it's a lot of tactics, right? So sometimes we need to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Rest is adequate.
Mm-hmm.
But then we rest, we get back to it.
Exactly.
Don't rest for too much. You rest for too long,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then your goals, you become comfortable not doing it when you rest for too long.
Right.
See, I get tired too, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I get rest. I'm not resting for 8 hours.
Hell no.
I get by 2 hours.
You
1 hour. I'm back to it.
What? No, you don't sleep for 2 hours and that's it.
That's it. Look, I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
The longer I sleep,
Mm-hmm.
the more tired I am.
Okay.
I don't know. That just worked for me.
I get that. Like if I have more than 6 or 7 hours, I'm groggy. I'm slow to start. Yeah. So I try to give myself no less than 6, no more than 7 hours in my bed.
Of course.
That's not sleep because, I wake up during the night to go to the bathroom and, I just don't have consistent out cold sleep. But I'm absolutely no more than 7 hours.
Yeah, no more than 7, man. It depends on everybody. It depends on your schedule. It depends on your life. It depends on your structure. So it's all about you. You got to look in between yourself and evaluate like, okay, this is how I want my stuff to be. Just like how you schedule yourself at 4:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. That's early for a lot of people.
Hell yeah, dude.
They're not getting up at 4:30.
Nobody I know gets up that early.
You don't want to do that. See, a lot of people actually talk about it like, oh, get up early, 4:30, that's the mantra, get it done.
Yeah.
But they don't.
They don't. I know that.
See, being consistent is not setting crazy goals. You can, but that's going to take crazy consistent. Mm-hmm. If you don't have it, it's fine. Set something you can handle. So 6 o'clock. If you can handle 6 o'clock, there we go.
Yeah.
So you can be consistent with getting up at 6.
Yeah. And I try to tell people that you know, when you're starting to shift your life, when you want to get more stuff done and become more successful, you don't have to go and do anything right away at 6 a.m. But if you're used to getting up at 8, or if you're used to getting up like 20 minutes before, like you have just enough time to shower, dress, and get to work, just try waking up 15 minutes earlier, and then 15 more minutes earlier, until you get to that point where like that goal that you want of waking up at 6 a.m. is done. And then maybe you just like read a book, you know, or go for a walk. Like, don't do anything huge. Just get baby steps so you can get that progress started.
See, I tell a lot of people when they get up in the morning, don't go back to sleep. Once you get up, it's up. It's done.
Yeah.
Find something to do. Because the moment you lay back down, you're not getting up when you want to, when you actually want to get up.
I hear you. I hear you on that.
Even if you get up early, like you said, read a book or go walk. Run the house. You don't got to be outside.
Yeah.
But don't lay back down.
That's the devil right there, trying to get you to go back down.
I get up 5:30 every morning or 6 o'clock, right? I don't really have to be specific with it because I don't have to do anything till 7.
Gotcha.
That's my structure. But somebody else might have a 4:30 or 5:30. That's their structure. So it's all between yourself. You got to know your own structure and follow it.
So you say you don't rest for more than 2 hours. Like, that seems like a very busy day then. I mean, if you're maximizing, you know, almost the full 24 hours in a day.
No. I don't maximize the full 24 hours.
Okay.
I sleep throughout the day.
Oh, okay. You take breaks throughout the day.
I take break. Let's say I get up. I got a whole morning full of schedule packed. I'm booked up for the whole morning, right? Around 12, 1 o'clock, my day stops.
Okay.
I rest. At 3, my day begins again.
Right.
So that's kind of like how I do it. I break it up in the scheduling.
And that's important for people to understand, because a lot of people fall into this like weird train of thought where it's like, okay, we've been taught to do this all the time. This is the way it's supposed to be done. So, you know, I'm going to work all day. I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. I'm going to wake up at 8 o'clock and, you know, work all day long. But there's 900 different ways to skin a cat.
There's many ways, man. Many ways. And it's your life. You can structure it how you want to. So that's where it comes down to mindset. Like, and that's where I get my mindset from, is like, I'm open to the universe, you know? It's not, we don't have to do things normally.
Because
as society wants you to do it, right? So if I explain my schedule to someone, they'll be like, whoa, man, that's a lot of stuff. But it's not. It looks like a lot. But if you break it down and follow a routine, it won't be a lot.
How would you suggest someone that is, you know, watching this show right now, listening to us, how would you suggest someone who really feels in them that they want to do more for themselves, they really want to get out of the bubble that they've been in? What would be a few things that you would say like would be a great start off point for them to like change their mindset?
The start off point is easy. Reflection, self-evaluation. Because without knowing the problem, you can't fix it. So you got to know the problem first. So I would look in between myself and find the problem. Once I find that, I can fix it.
Right.
If I'm lazy, okay, what's making me lazy?
Right.
Is it that I don't get enough sleep? Is it that I'm not eating right? It could be many things. But once you know the problem, you can find a solution.
Right. Okay. So self-evaluation, that's a big thing.
Self-evaluation. That's the biggest thing.
I mean, I agree with you on that. I've definitely spent many nights in bed thinking, you know, what it is that I've been doing myself wrong, you know, incorrect or not proper for my lifestyle. I've also spent many times like staring in the mirror and like saying like, dude, you know, you didn't do what you were supposed to do today. That's
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, hell no, there's nothing wrong with it.
Society make you think that like people are crazy when they do that.
Hell
they
no,
talk to
dude.
themselves, you know, they reading a book, they sitting out in the wild just chilling. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Absolutely not.
Because you got to really dig deep within yourself.
Search that
and
soul.
a lot of that I had to do
to
come up with this mindset. Because like I said, consistency, you might fall off, even if you try your best. But when you dig in yourself, it's just something else, man.
Yeah.
You can't explain that.
See, I love that, like, you know, two men are sitting here discussing the things that I think a lot of men would have a hard time admitting out loud that they do, like talking to themselves in front of the mirror.
I talk to myself all the time.
Every day.
Hey, people, oh, you crazy. You're right. I'm crazy.
I'm crazy good.
But who's successful?
Yeah.
Huh?
Boom.
Who's successful? You know what I'm saying? So it's fine.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I try like almost every day. I try to get the point across that everything that you do in life is a practice.
Of course.
You know, you can't become great at bodybuilding if you don't practice it.
Of course.
You can't become, you know, great at, you know, becoming a novelist if you don't write every day. So everything that you do is a practice. So why not practice loving yourself first, right? Look at yourself, see what's wrong with what's going on, and figure that out. So talking to yourself in the mirror, talking to yourself in your room at night, kind of getting all that thought out of your head that's negative is I think, a brilliant thing to do. And I think more
Most
men
definitely
should be able to do it.
Yeah, you know, that was hard for me too. As far as like digging deep within yourself. Because you're going to find some things that you don't like.
Why was it hard for you?
Because as men, you know, we brought up to be tough, right? So we move more physical.
Right.
And we move with a physical aspect, and that's it. We don't dig deep. We think that's, you know, that's not for us.
Right.
But it is. It makes you stronger. When you have that spiritual strong, it's different. So what's on the inside, what's on the outside. So you can be strong on the outside. It don't really mean nothing. Because when a situation actually comes to you, you fumble. So that's the difference. I
mean, you're literally bringing up topics that I've been thinking about over the past 48 hours. It's really crazy to me how these conversations go sometimes. I've been going over in my head the whole concept of a piece of coal under pressure becomes a diamond.
Of course.
And in life, like we said, like, you know, life shows up at the front door ready to knock you down sometimes. And it's how you react to those emotions, what you're receiving at that time, really decides what your character truly is about.
Of course.
You know, anyone can be successful on sunny days and, you know, everything's feeling great and your friends are all happy for you.
When everything is great.
Yeah, it's easy.
What about when it's not?
Which is most of the time, right?
That's crazy.
Isn't it so weird? Like, there's a thing that said, like, you know, obviously this too shall pass. You know, that's quite a big quote, but it's like life is seasons. And when it rains, you know that the rain's not going to be there forever.
No, it's not.
But every time it's sunny out, you know, the sun's not going to be out there forever. So it is. It's how you react to those situations which builds the true character.
Yeah, most definitely. But I put it like this. Look, a diamond, right? Like how you say diamond is built under pressure. I'm going to give you an example. A diamond, if you put a diamond in the dirt, what is it?
Diamond covered by
dirt. Still a diamond, right?
Oh, okay.
It's still a diamond.
100%.
So the obstacles don't mean nothing.
Right.
Right? And say the greatest warrior is going to have the worst battles. So that's how I look at things. It's like, okay, things are going to happen. That's normal. A lot of people treat obstacles like it's their first time seeing it. No, man. You've been facing obstacles your whole life. And it's never going to stop.
Well, that's a good point. That's something that people need to understand when they're going after their passions, especially when you're so driven and so focused on going after what you know in your heart, where you believe undoubtedly this is going to work.
Of course.
That is when that shit's going to show up every time.
Of course.
Hardness, tough days, you know, anxiety, stress, all these things is part of our lives, no matter what. It's just knowing how to deal with them.
It's how to deal with it, man. And really, 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 you got to dig deep in yourself. And I speak on it a lot because nobody can really help you. A mindset coach, a therapy person, they can't help you. You got to dig in yourself. Because when you go to them, they're going to tell you, dig in yourself.
Right.
So what does that mean? It's up to you.
Right.
You know?
Everything's on your shoulders.
And it's crazy in society. A lot of people don't actually want to speak about this topic as far as mindset and spiritually digging in themselves and finding their best self. A lot of people don't want to speak about that.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because they want fantasy.
Okay.
They don't want they don't want the truth. And the truth is that they got to put the work in.
Facts.
They don't want the truth. So a lot of these topics kind of fly over people's head, right? They don't sit down and listen. Because they want fantasy. They want fast stuff like fast food. You know, it's quick.
Right.
They want that.
They want the instant gratification.
The instant.
Which that I believe is a huge problem nowadays, right now, because now with like the full on internet and the accessibility of convenience, like we live in an area where your phone, you and a couch,
of course,
you can get anything done. You can go shopping, you can get your food ordered, literally dropped off at your house.
Most definitely.
You don't have to worry about doing anything anymore. It's crazy, that instant, which kind of like snowballs into like your life where you just think everything should just happen now. But that's not true, right?
No.
How many years you said it took you? 4 years?
To get to this, where I'm at?
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
I've been training for 7 years.
Training for 7, 4 or 5 years to get you to the success where you have a steady Rolodex of clients, where you're able to pay your bills and live happily.
Of course.
Right?
And I'm going to tell you something. Before I could actually pay the bills.
Right.
I'm going to tell you about passion right now. So when I was coming in the game, I suffered a lot. I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. But it's experience.
Right.
That's okay. Most of the time, when I was doing training, I wasn't getting nothing from it.
Nothing.
What I was getting was crumbles, like cookie crumble. You know, so you gotta go out there and make that first step. Like, you can't be scared of that first step. You can't be scared of the failure. I was never scared of failure. I went and did it with nothing.
Right.
Zero coming in. But it's my passion that I gave to people. It's my passion. And that's what defines true passion. It's doing something without looking for reward. So now I can get reward because I done did that first step.
You put in the time by simply doing what it is you love to do without any expectation.
Without any expectation
of receiving anything from it.
Of course. That's true passion.
That is another amazing point to get across to people. There's a gentleman that says, if you're willing to do something without seeing any return for like 2 or 3 years, then you're probably on a good path to getting what you want. But if you're willing to do something for 10 or 15 years without getting anything in return, you're going to definitely get what you want. And if you're willing to do something for your whole life without expecting anything in return, you will create something that will last much longer than you will here on this rock.
Of course.
I mean,
and that's legacy.
Thank you.
That's legacy.
You finished it off for me.
That's legacy.
And isn't that what we all want?
Of course.
Right? I don't want this buckets of cash thrown at me. I don't want celebrityism to be like there. Like, that's all the byproduct of it. That's all the excess of being good at what you do. But I just want the feeling of getting to that point over time where people appreciate that you put forth the effort. Of course. They can see that you actually gave a fuck about doing what you're doing. And I can see that in you. The way you speak about like the gym and the way you speak about mindset, the way you smile, like it's just instantly lit up. I love it.
The gym is different for me.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of situations with gyms. So
like what?
When I got into training, I used to train at the gyms. Well, I still do now. So sometime in life, you might have to step back. That's fine. Because you stood back, but you got the experience.
Right.
Right? So you're not losing anything. I had a gym before. I shut it down.
You had your own gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a independent contractor gym. Left that too.
Okay.
So took a lot of steps from out the commercial gym to an independent gym to owning my own gym. And now I'm back to the situation again. Right? But see, if I tell a lot of people this, they'd be like, man, like you fall off. You know? But I didn't. Because even though you can take everything away, but you can't take away my mindset.
Hell no.
You can't take away what I've done and the experience I've gained. So that's the difference with everything. You can lose everything today. What do you got if everything is gone?
You got yourself. You got your mindset.
That's it.
You got what you built inside yourself.
So that's why it's the foundation.
It's exactly that. It is the concrete foundation that you build with inside your own mind that allows you to work through the negative that's thrown at you. Like I just recently lost my job, and you know that's a pretty crushing thing for most people, right? Like your life gets kind of turned upside down. You start questioning like what you're doing. Are you doing it right? Are you doing it wrong? And that's a hard thing for people to admit out loud to anybody. Of course. Now I have a great friend base. I have 3-4 guys that I hang out with all the time, and as soon as it happened, I told them. And here I am dealing with adversity. And, sometimes I could just take you out of the game for a bit. But instead, I just put my head full force. That's it. Into what I'm doing because it's what I believe. and I didn't let my mindset change. I know that I'm dealing with stuff inside of me, and I know I'm dealing with stuff inside my brain as well, but I'm not letting that overtake my life. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still walking my dog.
Of course.
I'm still putting time into my business. And the job that I had that was paying for all my business, entities, it'll show up again.
Of course.
You just got to stay focused.
See, I'm glad you said that, man. Because this one, you're going to fail. I'm going to tell you when you know you're going to fail. When your mindset change from what you had before because of physical aspect or material things, that's when you're going to fail.
Right.
Because no matter what changed in my life, my mindset is still the same. I had the same goal what I started out with.
Right.
It's not a different goal. We're just improving.
Right.
Same goal.
Always.
I didn't never change my goal.
Right.
It's the same goal I'm with, but I just keep improving. And a lot of things hit me in life.
Right.
I never changed my goal.
Okay.
Same goal.
Every day.
That's it.
I love it. It's very important for people to understand that adversity will show up constantly. We talk about that a lot on this show. And, the guests always share, those moments where it was hard to pay the mortgage or have food on the table.
Of course.
But they kept going forward.
I had a lot of those days, man.
Yeah.
I had days I'm walking to the gym.
Walking, no car.
To go train.
Right. Yeah. You got to do what you got to do sometimes.
I'm showing up for people. Right? They look at me. They don't see what I'm going through.
Right.
They just see the trainer.
Exactly.
I'm walking to go train you.
They don't, and hopefully they understand what's going on. They might not know what's happening in your life, but at least they understand that no matter what's happening in your life, you're showing up for your passion.
Of course.
And that's another important thing people need to hear. You have to show up for your passion.
You got to show up.
Every day.
You must put in the work. You have to take that first step.
So what would be something that, let's say someone in their mid-20s, they're trying to figure stuff out and, what it's like to be like 24, 25, life is interesting at that time. If they're on a path of getting something that they want, but an adversity shows up to them and they kind of get pushed back from it, what would be a helpful thing?
I would say if you're in your 20s, it's going to be rough. And a lot of us, we want things fast, but it's not going to be like that. It's going to be slow, man. I'm going to let you know right now it's going to be slow. But you can change the pace. That's changing your mindset.
Right.
Right? So me, I think what I always done was always be around people that's way further than me. So like elders, people that you consider adults, I would hang around those people. I would always be around grown people because they have this type of mindset where they don't experience a lot of things and they're considered wise at this moment. So they can tell me things they done already that I'm about to do. So I think it's to like visualize the future and understand where you're at right now.
Right.
That's the biggest thing somebody can do in their 20s or whatever.
I like that you said that because it's not always easy knowing where you are, when you are in your 20s. I mean, I remember being in my 20s and not knowing a damn thing. I was just smoking weed, going out drinking every night. I had a cooking job, but I wasn't aware of my place at that time.
Yeah, I think I've been aware, man. I've been aware since I was like 17.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I've been aware since I was 17 because, like I said, it's a lot of adversities I had faced. And when I faced them, it just opened up another door. And I'm like, bring them on. It's okay. I'm ready for the next one. And that's what changed my mindset from back then, from 17, 18, 19, and keep from to now.
Keep going.
Just keep it going.
It's amazing because I think once you realize that adversity will show up constantly and you're willing to face it head on, it will make you a stronger individual.
Of course.
Not just for yourself, but it'll make you a stronger individual for those around you.
And the more you get stronger, oh man, the more you get stronger, the more the adversity gets stronger.
Hell yes. Agreed.
Real. That's real talk. The more you get stronger, man, you're going to face some terrible things.
Yeah. I mean,
that's just how it's set up.
That is such an interesting way that life is kind of set up that way because I've said this to many people. The more focused you get, And the more good that you're doing, meaning staying on point of what your goal is, you have a passion, you have a dream, and you're trying to make it real, the more you keep going down that road, the tougher the adversities are going to be that come at you. Because for some reason, there's an element out there that doesn't want you to succeed.
Most definitely not.
And you cannot allow that to start strapping you down. You just can't. Do you have any mentors or anyone that you looked up to when you were going through everything and you started changing your mindset?
Mentors will be people around me.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep a tight circle.
Right.
So people around me, my family,
mm-hmm.
and most definitely, you know, I read a lot. I come to find out intellectual is the best thing you can have in this country.
Hell yes.
So it doesn't even matter what you have physically.
Mm-mm.
It don't matter. It's what's in your head. Because that's what nobody can take away from you. So I would read a lot. I listen to a lot of people, like elderly people. So I think that's what pushes me to where I'm at.
Right.
I always been around people that was grown, and they kind of give me this mindset of what they went through, and you know, correct me as I go. But the biggest thing is yourself, because nobody can do it for you.
Right.
So your mentor got to be yourself. Nobody can mentor you. You got to be your biggest mentor.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. I do have a couple people that I have as mentors, from an aspect of, like you said before, surrounding yourself with people who have done things before. One of them is actually younger than me, and one of them is older than me by a couple days.
We can learn from anybody.
100%, dude. The person younger than me put me on a path about 4 months ago that really helped me enlighten my brain and go after things that I truly wanted.
Of course. By
being able to ask for help. And simply because he told me a little something, realizing asking for help is not a bad thing, and doesn't matter who you ask for it from, is changed my life a lot, because a lot of good things came once I started implementing that practice. And the other mentor has just lived and done so much already at the exact same age that I am, because like I said, we're only a couple of days apart. And so I call him up from time to time for advice on, you know, how to talk to somebody, you know, where should I pivot when this happens with my business? And having those people of knowledge around you is amazing, and having a tight circle of friends.
Of course.
I used to go out, you know, all the time, like 7, 8, 9, 10 times a week I'd go out. And I had a lot of acquaintances. And I took that circle over a couple of years and brought it down to where I basically hang out with like 4 or 5 people, and that's it.
That's good.
And those 4 or 5 people are all doing things in their lives to move themselves forward.
Of course. If somebody around you is not doing stuff that is aligned with your success or aligned with any success, that's going to bring you down.
Correct.
Because you're going to try to fix them. And you can't.
Hell no. I gave up giving unsolicited advice to people. Because first off, half of them, they don't even want to listen. They're not grown enough yet to absorb what you're trying to share with them. They don't see it as you sharing information to help them become a better person.
Of course.
They just look at it as like, oh, here he goes again. So definitely unsolicited advice to people. I'm not willing to give that. If someone wants to listen and have a conversation about it,
of course,
dude, I'll sit down and talk to anybody for however long they want to talk.
But that's fine too. But adversity that I face, as far as me, because I'm young, really young. So a lot of things I've done, I'm not supposed to do it at my age.
Right.
Right. So a lot of people kind of like try to keep me down at my age group. Like I'm not supposed to do certain things.
Right.
And I've never been that way. I feel like I can get the things done regardless, no matter what my age is. And that's why I seem mature to a lot of people when I'm really not. I'm just mature in my head.
Right. Has anyone ever said that you have an old soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Because that's just how it is. Like when someone has an old soul, they're able to accomplish things and have a mindset that's completely different than the number of years that they've been around. And the fact that you can, you know that, and you've been self-aware for such a long time is clearly a big reason why you're so successful at what you do.
Of course.
And, you know, the energy you give off you know, a lot of people would like see you on the street, and honestly, like they probably might be a little scared because you're like, you know, a big, well-built guy. You know, you have an image of that kind of gym type person.
Of course.
But, you know, if anyone took the time to get to know you and have a conversation with you, they'd see just like the genuine person, the light that's within you comes out so quickly with a conversation. The smiles are there regularly, you know, when you talk about things that you are passionate about. Like,
of course.
People just need to stop judging other people based on what's inside of themselves. They got to realize that people have other shit going on in their lives.
Of course.
And just be okay with it. So you read a lot.
Yeah, I read a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't read books.
Okay.
I read chapters.
Chapters. Okay.
So I don't take a book and read the whole book.
Okay.
I go inside the book. So I learned this from Eric Thomas.
Okay.
And he said, don't be just shooting, right? Be a sniper.
Mm-hmm.
So when he said that, it went over a lot of people's head, but
right.
I'm like, let me use it to make some sense. Be a sniper. So I would get a book. I look at the chapters. And I'll find a chapter I want to read.
Mm-hmm.
And I go read that chapter.
Okay.
And I study that chapter.
Yeah.
Then I become the chapter.
Okay.
And that's how I get successful. I don't read the whole book. You're not going to remember a whole book.
Right.
Right? You read the whole book, you're not going to remember. You probably remember 1-2 points. But if you study that chapter, you won't forget it.
Interesting. I've never thought about that, because you can see over here I have a lot of books, and I have you know, a shelf that's the books I've read, and the shelf that books I'm reading, and that books that I'm reading is a pile on the ground as well, because I never read as a kid. I've said this before in other episodes. I paid people to do my schoolwork, and that was my own foolishness, because later on in life, I obviously didn't have that education.
I never liked reading too.
Yeah,
but I changed that.
Yeah,
you know, I never liked reading.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm not doing.
Nah, it's boring.
It's boring, but lately it's been exciting.
Dude, I love it now.
Right? It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I go read a chapter and enjoy it.
I love this theory about reading a chapter. Like I've never even thought about that aspect. Mm-hmm. I don't. I'm not familiar with the gentleman that you mentioned that, you know, gave you the idea, but because I read book cover to cover,
of course.
And I usually have a highlighter with me, and I highlight parts that are really important, so that when I go back, I can just look at those highlighted portions that I study, and I really submerge myself into that thought.
Of course.
And reading for me now has become my daily routine. It's in there. It's part of my day.
That's mindset.
Yeah, it has to be. Like, I have to read a minimum of 20 pages a day. Otherwise, I literally feel guilty.
That's the mindset.
Yeah. And I don't hate reading it. Like I look forward to doing the reading.
That's the mindset.
Isn't that crazy?
That's the mindset.
You just change it on yourself once you realize what's inside you.
It just takes a small change.
Yeah.
And it creates a domino effect.
Yeah.
Small change. And that's the mindset. Because the mind actually is full of thoughts. Constant. You think about stuff that you don't even want to think about. Mm-hmm. They just pop up.
Yep.
When you pick an idea and formulate that idea, that's a mindset.
Right.
That's how it becomes a mindset.
Yeah. It's hard. I notice myself when I'm reading that those other thoughts, and there's some statistic like 600 or 6,000 thoughts a minute or a day or whatever. And once you change your mindset and you start focusing on certain things, you start noticing these things, these truths about it. And I'll be reading a book, and, you know, a distraction will come in where, like, I start worrying about something. Like, you know, I lost my job, so something about that comes into my brain.
You throw it out.
And well, yeah, you have to. You have to throw it out. And I stop and I look at my book and I'm like, dude, you're not absorbing what you're reading. Stop thinking about that thought. Mm-hmm. Focus.
That's it.
Start back at the top of the page. And that whole process, that was like a few sentences for me to explain to people, but that whole thing happens within a half a second. Stop thinking about it. Go to the top. Focus on reading.
Of course.
And it's a very difficult thing for some people to be aware that it's happening to them. But once you change your mindset and you can notice those things happening.
Yeah, you can notice it. Mm-hmm. Once the mindset change, you can pinpoint. You can even pinpoint your whole self.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't do good. I did not do good. Mm-hmm. So reading, especially with reading, this how I change it. When I read, my phone, it get notifications.
Yeah,
I put it in another room.
Gone.
I don't even want it next to me.
Right.
Because it's gonna go off. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pick it up. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pick it up.
Absolutely.
Even though I don't want to, I'm gonna pick it up.
Yep.
Put it back. No, I don't want a distraction.
Yeah.
Put it in another room. Mm-hmm. I don't want no distraction. I might lock myself in a room.
Right.
And sometimes you just have to make that sacrifice. Because to get successful, you have to focus on one thing at a time. Can't be all over the place. Multitask is great, but when you focus on one thing at a time, it's crazy. It's different.
That success is just going to like multiply so much quicker when you have that focus, right? I like what you said about sacrifice there and reading, because, you know, the people I hold dearest to myself are the boys I hang out with here. And I love spending time with them because, you know, the career I have that pays the bills for the business I'm building takes me in and out constantly. And I can be away for a week, a month, 2 months, whatever. And so when I'm home, I love spending time with these boys because they are my heart and soul. Like, I care so much about these guys. And the sacrifice I have sometimes is, you know, I go to my room at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night while they're in the living room watching a movie or having fun or whatever, because I know I have to do my reading.
Can't do that.
I can't spend time with them all the
Sacrifice.
time. I put the book in my room and I make my mindset, okay, if I didn't get my reading done until the end of the day, I have to do my reading. So I have to go to my room, sacrifice time with my friends, and sit in my bed and read for 30 or 40 minutes before bed. Or I can change the routine, and on days where I can, I will get the dog walked in the morning. I will have my meditation. I will go to the gym. I'll get the reading done. And that's why I get up at 4:30. Because if I get all that stuff done by 9 a.m., I'm fucking killing it.
You're killing it.
The rest of the day is mine to just conquer anything else I want to do.
And it's good, man, to have a routine. Okay. You see, a job, most people have a job. I have one too, right? But I consider myself an entrepreneur.
Right.
See, entrepreneurship is not physical. It's a mindset, right? And anywhere you're at, even if you work in a job, you'll still be an entrepreneur.
Right.
So that's a mindset. The job has a routine. You follow certain things. You get there at this time. You do this job. You got this description. And you got to follow that, right? You clock out at this time.
Right.
So I structure my life like that.
Okay.
Like I'm an employee of my life.
It's an excellent way to look at it.
So I do things accordingly. Now, if I get out of bound, what does that mean? Consequences. I will serve.
And you have to be okay with dealing with those consequences. Yeah.
And the consequences is going to lead to your adversities.
Exactly. Which you've put into play yourself by not staying true to what your goals were. Of course. By not hitting the mark every day of what you wanted to get done.
Of course.
Do you know who Patrick Bet-David is?
Patrick, no.
I have a book. I have a book over here I just finished reading, which is I think it's called Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. He's quite big.
That's a good title.
Very very visual person on YouTube and whatnot. He had Valuetainment, I believe, and his book talks a lot about entrepreneurism, and learning what type of entrepreneur you want to be, whether it is the forefront person or the background person, and figuring that out. And his book is really excellent. Like, I think if you pick that book up, you'd find a couple of chapters.
Yeah, that's dope. I'll look into that book for sure.
Want to look into, because I think for you, it'll just solidify everything that you've been doing. And for me, when I read certain books, when I read sections, which is just affirming all that I have been doing, it gives me a feeling of just pure fucking excitement, because it's like,
you need that.
Yeah, man, because it just hits you and you're like, well, I've been doing those things, so I have to become successful at this, because I'm doing literally what other people who have done this for years and decades of success are saying you need to do. And it comes down to the mindset. Yeah, it's crazy.
See, everybody got their own success.
Agreed.
Right? It could be small, it could be large. But you have your own success. Your success could be you get up in the morning and go walk. That's your success.
Yeah.
See, a lot of us, because we success on a small level, we don't consider it nothing.
Right.
Right? So even with social media and a lot of things, people are so consumed by it. When they accomplish something in their life and they're successful at it, because it's small, they think it's nothing. Because somebody did it on a bigger level.
Right.
But you got to focus on your level. See, we might be right here today, right? But you might be somewhere else next week.
Right. Yeah, people have to stop comparing themselves to others, because a big thing that a lot of people are realizing is, like, you know, social media isn't always the truth. You know, people put out the happy, fun times about it.
People put out the best.
Exactly. They're not putting the the worst list. They're always putting out the greatest hits. They're not putting out the worst hits, you know? And like we've been talking about those adversity times, like those hits, that's what I'm trying to share with people. I'm trying to share my life with everyone so they can understand that those hard times are going to be there. They're going to be difficult, but they're not going to be there forever. And that part will be edited. But those hard times won't be there forever because you have that mindset that you've changed inside yourself. You've made the decision to stop comparing yourself to other people. And that was the point I was trying to get up is we judge people based on our past and we compare ourselves to other people for no reason.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's on you.
It's on you.
It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of you. At the end of the day, you're going to go to sleep and hopefully you're going to wake up because of you. Not because of what someone said about you, not because of what someone thinks about you. So if you do something that other people are doing and you think they're doing it better because they're doing it in a bigger platform, let's say, use that as fuel.
That's fuel.
Right? It's not a horrible thing.
They already in the way. That's good.
Yeah, they're in your way that you're going to knock through.
I'm going to knock through it. It's fine.
I love that you brought that up.
I appreciate my level.
Right.
Right. I definitely do. So I always say to myself, I'm going to get rich.
Right.
Doing what I love.
Every day.
And that's key for me. Because it's not just getting rich. It's the follow-up. Doing what I love doing. I always say that. I'm going to get rich. So I'm not on that level yet.
Right.
But I've done successful things on the level that I am. So when I get there, it won't be a surprise.
Right.
It'll feel like a reward.
Exactly. And the mindset that you have about following up that sentence, I'm going to be rich. And the second part was
doing what I love.
Doing what I love.
Of course.
People need to know that as well. You have to have that follow-up because with everything that we're talking about, it really comes down to certain things that we've touched based on a couple other episodes where it comes to like auto-suggestion, which you actually have to verbally say out loud what it is you want, but follow it up with what it is you're going to do.
Of course.
And that's an important thing. I'm going to become rich because I'm going to do what I'm passionate about.
Of course.
I know that the successes are out there to be given to everybody, but you got to show up. You got to do the work.
You got to do the work.
You got to be passionate about it. Nothing comes easy. Keep going no matter what. These are all aspects of what has to be done.
But people look over these things.
Yeah.
Right? See how you put a whole list? Those are key points. People actually look over these things. They think it's not right or it doesn't make sense. But structure is key, man.
Right.
Structure is key with anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm building a house, my foundation,
right,
has to be strong, man.
Hell yeah.
It has to be stronger than the house itself.
Exactly.
Because the house is going to sit on it. So it's the same thing with mindset. The mindset has to be stronger than anything else because everything's followed behind the mindset.
Right.
There's no success without mindset.
You're almost just floating through life without anything if you don't have a mindset.
And I can't be floating through life.
Nah.
That's not it.
We don't have much time.
We don't have it.
You know, people think, oh, whatever, I'm 15 or I'm 30 or I'm 50. Like, dude, in a moment, in a half a second, snap your fingers, gone.
And time moves fast. Time moves fast.
Fuck yeah.
You'll be 10, you'll be 15 tomorrow.
I remember when I was 10, just looking at my older brothers being like, oh, I can't wait till I'm 16 and I can drive a car.
And it came by.
I'm 45 years young now.
And it came by.
Dude, I'm telling you, each year, each decade, it almost feels like someone has turned the dial of speed.
Yeah.
You know, like 10 to 15 was like, it was at a low speed. 15 to 20 was okay. It was like a little bit something going there. 25 to 30, you're like, oh, fuck, what's going on here? And now like 30, 40, it's just like every year goes by in about 10 seconds for me.
But I feel like personally, you can slow down time and how things move.
Okay.
Because in this country, things move fast. They want everything done fast.
Yeah.
Fast food, fast delivery. I don't even get delivery to my house. I've never done an Uber Eats.
What? Like,
if I got to go get something, I drive to it.
Okay.
What's wrong with me? Ain't nothing wrong with me.
Nothing at all.
I can get to it.
Yeah.
I'm not that lazy.
Okay.
I'm not doing Uber Eats.
Right. Yeah, it's the convenience factor.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
But that makes you lazy because it's convenient.
Right. And that is what like North America is very much built on nowadays, is the fact, like we said a second ago, the convenience of everything can be done in your palm of your hand. Yeah. I want to get back for a second on the topics that we had just said about we were talking about the mindset and how important it is to have that as a foundation. And I'm going to bring that in kind of a little bit with education here, because we all, at this point, most of us grew up through the public system, and we learned our maths, our sciences, and, home ec and all that sort of stuff that, most of us don't use any of that shit anymore, to be straight up honest. And right now,
I like that topic.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So right now we're in an era where, you have YouTube, you have podcasts, you have videos on YouTube.
Of course.
You have all these platforms where, you don't technically need to go to school. I'm not saying don't go to school. I'm saying that, again, we have the convenience of learning things in the palm of our hand or on our laptop, where the information is readily available.
Of course.
That you can do just about anything.
And it's specific too.
It's very niche. I have an F-150. I've been kind of fixing up for the past couple of years, and anytime I come to like kind of like a hesitant spot of it, I have a book. I have the actual Chilton manual for the car, but I can just go on YouTube and watch a video or two on that specific car, specific engine, and I can then go work on my truck.
That's it.
It's crazy. Being that people are eventually going to move away from traditional schooling, in my opinion,
that's coming. We
need our platforms and our conversations to be part of that curriculum.
Of course.
If I had someone, and hopefully at a younger age, maybe in my 20s, maybe not in my teenage years, but in my 20s, if I had someone talking to me in a real tone of voice like we're doing,
of course, about
real topics, about letting me know that if you want to be successful, here's an idea, change your mindset. I think that would have done volumes for me.
Of course.
I mean, hey, learning the hard way has gotten me to where I am right now. I have fortunately put myself in situations due to my own dumbass actions. And that then in turn made me learn something the hard way. The easy path is not always the best path. The longer path might be the wiser one for some of us. Some of us just learn that way. We just learn better by going through that adversity. I would never change a damn thing in my life to get me to where I am right now. No. I'm so fucking happy with where I'm at. And even though right now I am currently going through some adversity in my not my personal life, in my...
Who's not?
Exactly. I'm okay with it, because at the same time that these waves of unsettling, yet now I feel fine, and then, I'm unsettled, all in one day, all in 1 hour, I'm okay with it because I know what's going to happen.
Of course.
This too shall pass.
It will. It's temporary.
Everything. Even the good.
Temporary.
Yeah. So you got to be okay with it all.
And the bad, I think they last longer than the good.
Do they ever?
Yeah. They last longer, even though they're temporary. So you're right. It's all temporary.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have that mindset, you can have, things last more permanent.
Yeah.
So the waves, they'll come, but they won't shiver you.
Right.
You'll still be firm.
Mm-hmm.
And the waves, they'll ride past you. You in it, but you're still firm.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. It's like a cruise ship, right?
Yeah.
When it's riding, I don't think the waves is making it shake.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put a boat in the same water, it's going all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think that's how we got to be in the situations. Firm.
Absolutely. Firm is important. Firm foundation.
Of course.
Yeah. So let's finish off with this topic. Like you 5 years from now, you got a lot going on inside. You have a lot of big plans going on. Where do you see your successes going, over the course of the next 5 years?
Next 5 years? In the next 5 years, I should have a gym.
Okay.
Fully running. Employees and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want to create it and then rise to the top.
Right.
And not have to do that every day aspect kind of job. But I always told my girlfriend I want to become a specialist.
Okay.
Right? There's somebody that sits at the top, the specialist. Still know the hard work, but become a specialist. Like, the doctors and the nurse situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I always wanted.
The one that they call upon for all the advice.
Yeah, golden one. Just like my name.
There it is. Golden.
Yeah.
Golden becomes golden.
That's it.
I love it.
So that is my goal. Is to have a gym where I can bring people in and build their mindset, build their confidence up, and make an impact on their lives physically and mentally and spiritually.
Well, I have no doubt in my mind that you'll get there at the time in which you need to get there, because you have the right mindset. You've gone through a lot in your life. You're going through a lot. You're staying focused. You're pivoting when you need to. You're just genuinely a great fucking human being, dude. I'm so happy that you came by here today and chatted. I think everyone can get some value out of listening to you, whether they're just chatting with you on the street or if they're, being trained by you.
Of course.
I'm super excited to see where you go in the next 5 years. This will be the first of multiple times you come by here so we can chat and see how your life's going and everything like that. Seriously, thank you so much for coming by. It's been an amazing conversation. Your energy is phenomenal. I love it. And if anyone out there is interested in contacting Golden here, he's going to give out his Instagram and all his information right now. So I'm Golden. You can find me on Instagram at Golden Shatta. Now, it'd be Shatta, not O. Golden Shatta. Perfect. The golden one. The golden one. The golden one. And don't worry, everything will be written underneath in the description here as well, with a link to Golden's Instagram. So TikTok, Facebook, wherever. I'm the same name everywhere. Perfect. Golden everywhere. Awesome. Well, Golden, again, thank you very much for coming out. I look forward to many chats with you, buddy. Of course. All right. To everyone out there, thank you very much for joining us this week on our episode here on Lyfe Choices. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, comment. We look forward to hearing from all of you in the future. And come on back next time for another episode here on Lyfe Choices. Much love, everybody. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now about the Journey Lyfe Choices Podcast.